Welcome to the Busy Moms Fitness, Nutrition, Mindset, and Accountability Group. This group is for busy moms looking to learn how to move their body in a way they enjoy. For moms looking to learn how to eat foods that are flavorful, that fuel our body, and don't force us to give up our wine and cheese or our beer and pizza or whatever we really love enjoying. In this group, I also teach you how to get organized, get productive, and stop feeling like you're that chicken running around with its head cut off, always trying to get to the next thing and always playing catch up. One of the other things that we focus on in this group is if you are a busy mom and you're looking to lose weight or you're looking to maintain some weight loss that you've had, how we can create consistency, habits, and routines so that you can continue to be on that journey and make that journey sustainable and maintainable long term. So if any of those stand out to you, let me know. Let me know which one it is. As we move into this group is all about connecting with one another. And you will see sometimes there'll be lots of us on the Zoom screen having a conversation. Sometimes there'll be more comments in the Facebook. Sometimes it's a lot of behind the scenes conversations. Whatever it looks like and wherever you are comfortable, I do encourage you to connect with one another and also to jump on these calls and connect with me and others on these calls. Reason being, every single week I go live in this group, whether you guys choose to click that Zoom link and jump in or not. I go live every single week at noon Eastern Standard Time. If you want to jump in and get free one-on-one coaching every single week, click that little Zoom link above, jump on in. I will answer your questions in the conversation. I also understand that it is noon and it is a transition time, whether you're at work and you're having lunch or you're getting the kids lunch and then getting them down for a nap, whatever it is, I understand this is transition time. So maybe you can only watch on Facebook. If you are watching on Facebook, drop live in the comments and let me know who you are and where you're from. One of the fun things to do is connect with other people in your same towns. You may see on here a few weeks ago, we had 2 people from Missouri in the group. Didn't know we had multiple people from Missouri. So that was super cool to see that. If you are watching the replay, because you're watching this at a later time, make sure to drop replay in the comments and answer the same questions, who you are and where you're from. The more answering in those comments and the more conversation we have, the more you are going to get out of these calls. And today we're going to be talking about 4 simple tips to feeling more energized, feeling fuller longer, and how to eliminate those late night cravings. And before we get into that, I want to remind you that, yes, I just told you to drop live or replay and to give your name and where you're from. Well, I'm also going to be asking some questions today. And what it's going to do is it's going to give me a better understanding of where you're at so that I can better serve you and help you and give you the solution. Because I want to give you the solution. I want to give you the answers. So with that being the case, as I ask these questions, I'm going to ask you to drop certain words. As you drop certain words, there's going to be different things that pop up that may ask more questions. So participate in the chat as if you are watching live. The chat lives on. I will continue to watch it as long as you guys keep commenting. So we are going to get into this today. And like I mentioned, we're going to be talking about 4 simple tips to feeling more energized, feeling fuller longer, and eliminating those late night cravings. And the first couple questions I have for you is if you want more energy, drop energy in the comments. If you want to feel fuller longer, drop longer in the comments. If you want to eliminate those late night cravings, that little snack session that we have post dinner right before bed, drop cravings in the comments. Or if you want help with all of it, drop all. Drop it all. Okay, so we've got 4 tips and we're going to get right on into it today. And if you guys click that link and you jump on in mid-conversation, no worries. When there's a break, we'll do the acknowledgement and we'll have a conversation, but we're just going to kind of keep rolling through here. So our 4 tips. Tip number 1 is make sure every meal is balanced. And I'm going to explain what that means and why that is important. So what a balanced meal looks like is you have a carb, a fat, and a protein. And the reason that we want to make sure we have a carb, a fat, and a protein is those are our macronutrients. So those are the things that we need every single day, every single meal to help us feel fuller longer. What happens is if we have, so imagine this is a line and my hand's going to be the roller coaster. So this is my line. If I have just a carb, what's going to happen is my blood sugar is going to come up and then it's going to go right back down, just like the dragster at Cedar Point, for those of you who know that, who know what Cedar Point is. Whereas if I have a carb and a fat, my blood sugar is going to go up and then it's going to start to level out, but I'm still going to dip pretty quickly here. Whereas if I have a carb, a fat, and a protein, I'm going to be able to come up, level out, and then we have a drop. So the more, if we have a carb, a fat, and a protein, we're going to be able to stay fuller longer. We're going to have less of those blood sugar spikes and declines throughout the day. And every time we have a spike and a decline is when we feel great and then we're exhausted. And if we can eliminate those in a few different ways, one is by making sure that every single meal or snack we eat is balanced. So we have a carb. And when we think of carbs, we can think of fruits, vegetables, or starchy carbs. I always suggest trying to go for fruit or vegetable or something unprocessed first, unless you don't have anything. My go-to is really sourdough bread in the morning. So for breakfast, I have 2 eggs, goat cheese, and sourdough bread. I have my carb, my fat, and my protein. That will keep me full for about 3 to 4 hours. So then what happens is I'm on this train here and I come up and I'm going across and I feel my energy start to go down because my body's worked through the carbs, it's worked through the fat, and it's worked through the protein. So now I'm like, okay, my body needs more fuel. So instead of waiting till I'm down here and I'm lethargic, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna notice that and I'm gonna take and I'm gonna eat something else that has a carb, a fat, and a protein, and it's gonna keep that blood sugar level nice and level all day long. So the goal is to have us to come up, have a little dip, and then back up, little dip and back up, and stay as level as possible all day long. Whereas you guys probably feel a lot of up, down, up, down, up, down all day long. And what that is it's us not fueling our body properly. We're fueling our body, we're giving it the food it needs, but we're not fueling it in a way that's going to make it sustainable long term. So we have all these spikes. So we have this a lot of energy, tired, lots of energy, tired feeling. So you always want a carb, a fat, and a protein. So I want to know, question, would you like help making and creating a month's worth of balanced meals and snacks? Drop yes in the comments if you'd like help, and drop no in the comments if you would not, or just don't answer. But if you'd like help on that or guidance, drop yes. I have a resource for you that is going to teach you how to do that. So if you'd like help making and creating a month's worth of balanced meals and snacks that are going to help you stay like this all day long and help give you more energy, help you stay fuller longer, and eliminate those cravings, drop yes in the comments, and I'll send you the details. So that is tip number 1. Make every meal balanced. Tip number 2, prioritize your protein first. So when we are planning those balanced meals, something that is lacking in all of us for the most part is we are not eating enough protein. And if we're not eating enough protein, it's really hard to maintain the muscle and the strength that we have. And it's also really hard to feel fuller longer. We combine all 3 of these because our body eats through the carbs, then it eats through the fats, and it eats through the protein. But if we're not eating an adequate amount of protein, then it's hard to make sure that we can also stay fuller longer. So when we prioritize our protein first, what I always like to tell people is when you are making your meals and your snacks, pick your source of protein first before you pick your carb or your fat. Pick your source of protein because it's easier to make the meal around your protein rather than the opposite. When we are eating protein, it just helps that fuller, longer feeling, which in turn means we're not going to snack as much. We're going to have less of those energy drains throughout the day. And I really enjoy the varieties of protein that are out there. And a lot of it comes down to just being aware of what types of proteins we like. The other thing, like I mentioned, is a lot of us are not getting enough protein. And protein is what helps keep our muscles and our bodies stable. And often as we age, if we do not have adequate amount of protein now, we decline quicker. So do you know how much protein you need just to maintain where you are now? Drop a yes in the comments or no in the comments. Let me know do you know how much protein you need daily? And if we don't know, we're going to figure it out. And it's a really quick equation. I've got to ask you 2 or 3 questions and then I can tell you. So we need to know how much protein we need. And once we know how much protein we need, we will then, so let's say it's 100 grams of protein in a day. You'll divide that by your 3 meals, and that's how much you're going to need per meal. But before we even look at that, we have to figure out, do we know how much we need and how much are we actually getting? So, do you know how much protein you need daily to maintain where you are? Drop yes or no in the comments. Tip number 1, make every meal balanced. Tip number 2, prioritize your protein first. Make your meals around your protein. Okay, tip number 3, eat your fiber. So fiber helps us feel fuller longer. It also helps with our digestive system. And often I see 2 spectrums. I see someone who eats a lot of fiber because they've had issues and they know they need it, and people who don't eat like any fiber at all. So fiber can come from your vegetables, your fruits. It can come from your grains, and it's going to keep you fuller longer. So when you're thinking about your fruits and your vegetables, are you getting fruits and vegetables into your day? If you're not, you're probably lacking some fiber there. Are you taking a fiber supplement because you're not getting enough fiber in your daily natural nutrients? If you are taking a fiber supplement, can you incorporate more fruits and vegetables to get more fiber in a way that doesn't have to make you take a supplement? Same thing goes when it comes to those grains. You want to look for high fiber things. What that's going to do is it's going to just help with everything from the top to the bottom. So, do you eat vegetables every day? Vegetables are my favorite type of fiber. So do you eat vegetables every single day? Yes or no? Drop that in the comments, let me know. Because if you are not, that step is, can I have 1 serving of vegetable per day? That's it, just 1 serving. So often we start with, I have to do all the things. No, you're gonna start with, can I have 1 vegetable once a day? And then we build on that. So tip number 1, make every meal balanced. Tip number 2, prioritize your protein first. And tip number 3, eat your fiber. Tip number 4, don't tell yourself no or eliminate anything completely from your diet. So you have probably been told as a kid, is usually when this happens, of no, you cannot have that, or no, you cannot do that. And what does it make us want to do? It makes us want to do it more. It's what it does. And I've found that the all or nothing approach of I'm going to cut out all sugars, I'm not going to have any sugars anymore. What that leads to is an unhealthy relationship with food, for one, and then it also leads to binging later in the night or at any point in the day when we are tempted by the thing. We could be really good for like 7 days, like I'm doing great, no sugar, no sugar. But day 8 comes along and there is that cheesecake in front of you and you end up eating the whole thing rather than just that small portion that you would have had if you would have allowed yourself to have it in smaller increments throughout the week. So we never want to tell ourselves no or completely eliminate anything from our diet, especially all at once. We want it to be something that's slower, something that is, if you are looking to eliminate it, let's not cold turkey it. Let's wean ourselves off of it. Because if we completely cold turkey anything, that is going to lead to that likely binge and that unhealthy relationship with food, which I want all of you to have a healthy relationship with food, being able to go and do this thing and not have to feel like, oh, I can't have that, or I can't have that. Like, enjoy it, even if in those small increments. So I would love to know, have you ever completely tried to eliminate something in your diet? Drop yes or no in the comments. And if you have, was it successful? And tell me a little bit about that. If it was successful, how long was it? And is it still successful? Or no, it wasn't successful because I binged or because now I can't eat sugars or whatever it may be. I want to know the backstory on that because I know I'm not the only one and I know my clients are not the only ones who have cut out foods and then it's It's knocked them over in the long run. So our 4 tips: make every meal balanced, prioritize your protein first, eat your fiber, and don't tell yourself no or eliminate something completely from your diet. Those are the 4 tips on how we can feel more energized, feel fuller longer, and eliminate those late night cravings. So the 2, the energized and the fuller longer, I really touched on. The eliminating those late night cravings, I'm going to touch on that a little bit more now, and how those tips that I just gave you play into that. So that tip number 1 was your balanced meals. What that does is if you eat balanced meals all throughout your day and you keep your blood sugar levels like this all day long, you are less likely going to have those late night cravings at the end of the night where you're like, give me food, I haven't had enough of something. Whereas if we are balanced all day long, we're fueling and giving our body what it needs all day long, which means we're not going to go raiding the fridge right before bed or needing like, I need that thing. Every once in a while, we will crave chocolate. But acknowledge, is it because it's a craving and I ate well throughout the day and I'm still having that craving? Great. Or is it out of habit? Just be aware of when those cravings hit on. Often when I talk to people, they're like, yeah, I ate bread all day long, just bread and cheese. Yeah, we're going to have that craving at the end of the day then. So really making sure those meals are balanced helps with that energy and that fullness all day, but it's going to eliminate you going to the fridge at the end of the night. Protein, same thing. Like I said, if you're just eating carbs and fat all day long and you're not getting enough protein, that craving at the end of the day is going to be there. Same thing goes if you're not eating enough. Often I talk to people and they're like, oh, I'm not eating breakfast and I only eat from noon to 4 and I have a ridiculous amount of low calories. And then I binge as soon as 9 o'clock hits because I'm bored and all of a sudden I'm super starving. If we would have fueled our body all day long when our body was burning more calories because we were moving and we were doing things, we are going to feel better and we would not have had that late night fridge binge. I actually just got talking to, I ran a meal prep and planning boot camp this past week, and it was awesome. And one of the questions that one of the ladies had was, how do I stop that? And this is exactly how, when we started talking about balanced meals, and she noticed that she wasn't getting enough protein in. And having those structured protein really helps eliminate that late night binge, whether it's sugar or salty or whatever it is, it eliminates that. Because it's very rare that binge is going to be on fruits and vegetables. It's going to be on something that we don't feel super awesome with after. Number 3, eat your fiber. Same thing goes. If you have those binges and you want to eliminate them, that fiber helps us feel fuller, helps us make sure we're getting enough calories in so we don't get to the end of the day and we're starving. We want to make sure that we're fueling ourselves all day long in a way that makes us feel full, energized, not overly full, but like full, energized. And what that does is it helps prevent those late night cravings. I've been in that position. I'm no longer in that position unless I don't eat well throughout the day. And when I don't eat well throughout the day, I know it's going to happen. And I can already see what it's going to be. And if I don't have anything in the house, it's even harder because then I try to make something. And then the final tip, which was don't tell yourself no or eliminate something completely, that plays right back into the eliminating those late night cravings. If you have that craving for your wine and chocolate, if you have it and you want it and you've acknowledged it, have it. Have you ate well all day long? Great. You still want it? Have it. Just have it in those smaller amounts. Ways to kind of help with that binge towards that craving is put in a little container and take it out of the kitchen. Enjoy it. Because if you keep telling yourself no and you keep trying to shut down those cravings, all that's going to do is make you have an unhealthy relationship with food and you to have a binge cycle at some point that is going to spiral in all areas and not just that late night time. So I'm going to re-ask those 4 questions again that I had. First one was, would you like help creating a month's worth of balanced meals and snacks? If so, drop yes in the comments. Do you know how much protein you need daily to maintain where you are? Drop yes or no in the comments. I have free things for you that I'm going to give you if you answer these questions, so I can guide you in the right direction, so that you can, the low energy, the feeling like you're hungry all the time, and those cravings, we can eliminate those. Do you eat vegetables every day? Yes or no? And that final question. This is more just a insight question on my part, because I'm always curious about this. Have you tried to completely eliminate something from your diet? Yes or no? If yes, what was it and how did it go? And if no, why haven't you? Okay. So like I mentioned here at the top of our training, it's all about taking just one of those tips here today and starting at one spot and implementing. So maybe you're currently telling yourself no to something. Stop telling yourself no to something. Maybe you're not eating any vegetables, you're not getting any fiber. Start eating one vegetable a day. Maybe it's prioritizing your protein first. Are you having protein at breakfast? No, start having protein at breakfast every single day. And then make every meal balanced. Just look down at your plate. Do you have a carb, a fat, and a protein? No? Okay, make sure we get a carb, a fat, and a protein, and just focus on that. Don't deep dive in, don't take them all on, pick one thing. And once you've picked that one thing, drop it in the comments, let me know, and I will follow up and see how that's going so you can be successful at this. So with that being the case, I know at the top of the hour, I also said we go live every single Thursday at noon. Yes, that is the case. But next week, I'm traveling for work to be speaking at a conference talking about nutrition and stretching and mobility for our longevity. So with that being the case, I will not be here live, but there will be a 30-minute strength training class that will go out next Thursday at noon. So keep this on your calendar. Show up at noon, either save the class or put it in a spot where you can do it later in the day. But we will be back the following week, and we will be back live here in person at noon Eastern Standard Time. I will see you all next week. I'll see you all in 2 weeks. Have a great rest of your day.